Sir Sanford Fleming attempted as North York housing developer. It's little known that Sir Sanford Fleming, whose invention of time zones set a universal standard, attempted to be a North York housing developer. Fleming also created Canada's first stick-on postage stamps and was chief construction engineer of the Canadian Pacific Railway. In 1857, Fleming, then 29 and chief engineer of the Ontario, Simcoe and Huron Railway, newly married and living in downtown Toronto, bought land on Lawrence Avenue between Keilor and Dufferin, planning to sell it as housing lots. Fleming subdivided his farm into the Balmoral subdivision, which was the first planned subdivision in North York. He called it Balmoral, after Balmoral Castle in Scotland, a residence of the British royal family. Fleming was born in Kirkcaldy, Scotland, near Edinburgh, and immigrated to Canada at age 18. His newspaper ads, quoted in the book Pioneering in North York by Patricia Hart, said, "A house, not squeezed in between others, not dimly lighted in front and rear, not looking out upon pavement and brick walls and narrow yards, but standing by itself, surrounded by the free, pure air, with a grass plot on which your children can play, with flowers and shrubs and shade trees of your own planting, and fruits and vegetables of your own raising. The taxes are a mere trifle compared with those in Toronto." Fleming was ahead of his time. Nevertheless, the development was a failure and the lots that sold were repossessed, Hart wrote. He set aside 210 acres for a farm for himself and his family. From 1880, Sir Sanford Fleming continued to serve as the Chancellor of Queen's University for 35 years, until he died in 1915. Fleming's elder son, Frank Fleming, took over the family farm in 1881. History of Toronto and County of York, Ontario, Volume 1, published in 1885, said, "Mr. Fleming is extensively engaged in the importation and breeding of Hereford cattle and has about 40 heads of the celebrated breed. This is one of the finest stock breeding farms in the country." An episode about the land's previous owner George Taylor Denison of Bodyguards. George Taylor Denison purchased the land in 1840 at £170 because of his efforts during the Rebellion of 1837. Around this same period, he organized the Denison's Horse, a volunteer corps which played an important part in the formation of the Volunteer Militia of Canada. This unit later became known as the Governor-General's Bodyguard, today the Governor-General's Horse Guards. Many descendants of the Denison family served in the Governor-General's Bodyguard. So, the Denison family is regarded as Canada's most prominent military family. Frank also joined the Bodyguard when he took over the family farm and served as colonel in it. Finally, the land transition from farmland to residential neighborhood began in the 1920s. Its largest period of growth occurred after the Second World War, when many returning war veterans and their families settled there. In 1964, Sir Sanford Fleming Secondary School was opened on the land. The building was closed in 2011. The students relocated nearby to what had been Bathurst Heights Secondary School, which had better facilities, and the school renamed as John Polanyi Collegiate Institute after 1986 Nobel Prize in Chemistry winner John Polanyi, a Toronto resident for many years. After Sir Sanford Fleming passed, several organizations, parks and buildings were named in his honor. A road, Sir Sanford Fleming Drive in Peterborough, was also named after him. Many plaques were set up to commemorate him. In 1977 and 2002, Canada Post also issued stamps to commemorate Sir Sanford Fleming's outstanding contributions to Canada.